Hello, everyone. It is I, Vina Moreno.
Oh, yeah.
Here again. And in front of me is the lovely Greg Tepper, everyone.
It's me.
Yeah.
It's me.
It's you.
PP. And sitting to my right, what a treat. We get Greg Powers, our director of recruiting. Hey, dude.
What's up?
Thanks for coming. It's the this is the Father's Day post-game show here on
Father's Day post-game.
Just three dads hanging out.
Aww.
Three dads hanging out. Powers, you've now been a dad for 25 years.
Wow.
Yes, 26.
And-
This is the first year.
And this is first Father's Day as a death blade. So how was your Father's Day? Give us the.
Well, first and foremost, thanks to fam, I'm wearing my Father's Day shirt today.
That is a nice looking shirt.
So I have the Father's Day shirt on today. It was pretty cool. We had a pretty chill weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to lay low. Watched a movie.
Yeah.
T2, Terminator 2.
Yes.
Big Father's Day energy.
One of my top 3 movies. I love T2.
Oh, I think it has to be one of the most fun movies of all time.
Have you ever seen Terminator 2 Judgment Day?
I don't think I have. Maybe a long time ago whenever I was younger.
We might need to fix this as a staff.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Like a
think
staff
so.
screening?
That'd be like a staff watch type of thing.
So good.
I
Just
finished off the
thumbs up.
Dale Earnhardt documentary. This is the most dad. This is all dads.
Dad's rock.
Fried chicken dinner, and then finished off the golf tourney,
What?
Man.
which is a pretty good golf tournament actually. Like I'm not a
Perfect.
person that actually watches a lot of golf.
Yeah, I heard it was good.
But it was a Father's Day thing. I thought, it was the U.S. Open, and there was a guy that made his name escapes me now, but a 65-foot putt to win the thing.
Golf is real dad coded. It's why Pickle likes golf. Like she's a dad.
It is.
You know what I mean?
I was trying to settle into that nap when I turned it on. It's really, I was like,
golf nap is-
Yeah, I'm going to put this golf on, hit the nap button.
Choice. VNA, how was your Father's Day?
It was really good. We went to...
How's my man Raul?
I showed him the text message that you had sent.
My man, Raul.
Happy Father's Day, Raul. We went to Cantina Laredo in Addison.
Nice.
Very yummy. My dad and my brother both used to work there, and they've loved it ever since they worked there.
Mm-hmm.
They had both of them had 2 ribeye steaks
Okay.
Nice.
with taters and
I love
all
that.
of that fun stuff. And a michelada.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent.
Matt
What
Wilson will
about
be
you,
proud.
man?
We drove back. We had a quick weekend trip to Hot Springs, Arkansas. We'd never done Hot Springs before, and my in-laws live in St. Louis, and so they drove down about halfway between us. And gotta tell you, Hot Springs,
I don't know what's going to follow this.
for a little family getaway, not too shabby.
I've heard both sides of the Springs.
So we didn't do, obviously we've got young kids, we got 6 and 3, and so we're limited on what we can do, but for a family entertainment perspective, for what ended up being a long weekend, not bad at all.
Never been to the Hot Springs. I've been to Eureka Springs.
Okay, yeah, Eureka Springs.
Yeah.
That might be next on our list.
There you go.
So we ended up driving home yesterday on Father's Day. So I got to do one of my favorite things on Father's Day, which is drive a long distance and get increasingly mad when my kid's tablet wouldn't work with the thing I downloaded. But we did stop for breakfast. We did Cracker Barrel, which is real. Let me tell you, to the dads out there, if you haven't done Cracker Barrel in a minute.
We
were talking about it.
We did a roadie
over the weekend.
We'll get to it a little bit more later, but we did a roadie on Saturday with the crew down to do a live commitment down in Waco, and the topic of Cracker Barrel came up. And I will say, I will give this stamp of approval in some way is they've got the #1 rated pancakes.
Their pancakes are great. Their pancakes are great. Their biscuits are great. For a breakfast, and they got a kids menu stuff, so it all worked very well. I got some. I'm wearing socks that my boys got me. They are the Minions.
Nice.
You put it up?
I'm not going to put my foot on my. You got to pay. You got to pay extra. You got to pay extra for that, baby.
That was a good try, VNA. I love
you got to pay extra for that. No, we had a great time, and called my dad, and he went to the ball game yesterday, and for Rangers White Sox. So just a good Father's Day. So then I do want to make sure
Reds won. That does not happen on Father's Day all that often. The Reds won.
Boy, the Reds and the Rangers
They beat the
winning on the
Tigers.
same day. That's actually impressive.
Yeah.
The Reds and the Rangers winning on the same day. It seems like a feat. Okay. Last thing on Father's Day. One of my favorite traditions on Father's Day is friend of the program, Ryan Nanny, formerly Celebrity Hot Tub on Twitter, puts out a question every year, and he says, it's Father's Day. It's time to share the most dad thing that you did all year. Now, I want to be very clear. You do not need to identify as a male, and you do not need to have children to do dad things. And so, I think we all understand what doing dad things mean. V&A Moreno, do you want to wait? If you want to think about it, I'm going to prepare you for final thoughts.
Okay.
You need to be ready for the most dad thing you did this year, okay?
This year. Like
this year.
Me or...
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
That you did. If you've got one, or else you got to stay till the end of the show.
I know. I think I'll give mine now.
Okay.
I fixed my son's vehicle at the expense of my own hand to the savings of over $500, I might add.
Yeah.
There was a part that I had to get to, and you could only get to that by sacrificing it
You got
through
to
a
want
bolt,
it.
or you had to disassemble like the entire dashboard.
Yep.
And I sacrificed in and I sacrificed out.
Mm-hmm.
And V&A says it was her initial that I carved into my hand, but it formed a huge V on my hand. I would say that's the most dad.
That's pretty
thing I did.
dad. It's pretty dad.
I remember that.
I would say I'll think of another one for final thoughts, but I will say that one of the most dad things that I did this year is that Hank told me he was hungry. And I turned to him with a glint in my eye, and I go, "Hi, hungry. I'm Dad." And Hank got so mad at me. But it felt so good.
You're saying dad coded things like me saying the TikToks.
The TikToks and stuff like that, yeah. It was great. Anyway,
my
happy Father's
goodness.
Day to the dads out there. Anyway, hit the theme expo. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show with internet service. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the editor-in-chief of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram,
We on the gram.
or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today. She's got her hands 10 and 2, making sure that we're keeping this thing on in between the lines. She is V&A Moreno. Hi, V&A Moreno.
Hi, guys. 10 and 2, always.
How was your weekend?
It was really good.
Yeah? Good.
But with family.
Good. I'm glad to hear
complain.
that. Speaking of family, sitting to my right is the director of recruiting for Dave Campbell's Texas Football, Greg Powers.
What's up?
Hey, dude. We already talked about your weekend. It was a good weekend.
Yeah, I had a pretty cool Father's Day weekend. Super chill. I didn't even mention I watched the Reds game. That was the highlight.
Did you? That's a good Father's Day shirt.
Thank you.
I love my Father's Day gifts, and also that is a very good Father's Day gift. I don't want to give mine up. I want to be clear, but that's a good Father's Day gift.
Thank you.
Today is Monday, June 16th, 2025. It is a mere 164 days till Thanksgiving. Two important birthdays to shout out. Happy birthday to Tupac Shakur.
Happy birthday.
And happy birthday to Matt Tepper.
Okay.
Matt Tepper is
your brother?
You met Matt Tepper.
Yeah, I have. My
you
WrestleMania partner.
And he's going to be your AEW All-In partner,
Nice.
too. He'll be there, too. Yes, my older brother. Today is his birthday. We have birthdays 10 days apart, 2 years and 10 days apart. And so it is. It's his birthday.
Did you guys always do the joint birthday thing, or did you get each?
Well, for a while we did. Like, and we're going through that right now with our boys, because our boys are December 3rd and December 5th. And so right now we're probably at the age, Hank's going to turn 7, and we're thinking like, might be time to ditch the joint birthday.
Poor Hank. Yeah. You want to know what I say that? Because Andrew's birthday is in early December as well, and there are a lot of times say, hey buddy, like, look, this is playoff season.
Yeah. The other thing about it, I always have to ditch my kid and be like, I gotta go work. But the other thing is that there was always 10 days where my brother was 3 years older than I was. And I always took those days very personally. I was just like, no, it doesn't work for me.
This isn't right.
Yeah, exactly right. You're only 2 years older. But anyway, happy birthday to Matt Tepper.
Happy birthday.
Episode 1866. On today's show, folks, Greg Powers is here because we're going to talk a little recruiting, including a little road trip you guys took.
Yeah.
Down to see some breaking news. Mm-hmm. Then, back half the show, I caught up with Mike Craven, our senior writer, to talk a little bit about the cover story of the 2025 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football on Steve Sarkisian, head coach of the Texas Longhorns. We'll get into that with Mike Craven coming up here at the back half of the program. Do we have first four through the door?
We do. We have old jersey number 69 and Kyle Ramsey.
Welcome in, friends.
Hey, guys.
We appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us. One person spending a little bit of his day with us. I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week in Craven. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScouts. He has fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And, of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express, if you screwed up Father's Day, I know a great way to fix it.
Fried chicken.
If you were to go, honestly, like if your son were to like blow through the Father's Day stop sign, right? But then he showed up today, like you get out of the studio and he's like, Dad, I'm really sorry. I brought you a yellow box.
Oh, that'd make up for it.
You'd be like, buddy, yeah. What Father's Day?
Yeah, you can't hold a grudge on that yellow box.
No, you can't. We really do. I got to be honest. Look, Chicken Express, your marketing department is excellent. And I'm just saying, if you want to hire some people for your marketing department, in addition to your awesome marketing department, kind of look at the two idea man right here.
Tried and true customers who believe in the product for sure.
It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers. We will start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise. To Argyle we go to talk about their 2026 quarterback, McGuire Gasperson, who committed this week to UTSA. Had offers from places like North Texas, Maryland, Tulane, and UTEP. But it is the Roadrunners who get the services of McGuire Gasperson, who... This feels very Jeff Traylor coded. Like, this guy is just a ball playing dude that I think Roadrunner fans are really going to enjoy watching his tape.
I'm going to put another, feather in UTSA's commitment cap on McGuire Gasperson. His parents attended North Texas. North Texas had offered him. That's a pretty good rivalry in state right now. So this was like a direct win against a team that they compete against. So that, to me, says the level that they're recruiting at in this one. 2,895 yards and 28 touchdowns last year to earn 3-5A Division II overall MVP honors, stacking that on top of offensive MVP honors from 2023, before they kicked up to 5A from 4A. To me, that was one of the biggest things about his highlight tape and Argyle in general is Gasperson adjusted to 5A football very quickly. Not only that, thrived there. So the step up in competition, which I think is very, very important at the quarterback position, because if you go back through the history over the last 15 to 20 years, playing at a high level of competition is pretty important towards your success rate in college. And McGuire Gasperson's not only thriving, but has them in contention to be a state championship contender, I would guess. I mean, you're the expert when it comes to these Texas high school football teams, Greg Tepper. I got Argyle as like one of the faves.
We have Argyle pretty highly ranked. You're going to enjoy. Argyle fans, I think, will like their ranking heading into 2025. They are a legit threat because of a guy like Gasperson. They have weapons on the outside.
Yep.
Really nice weapons.
Always loaded in the trenches.
But it's like the distributor. I mean, it's not always. Argyle's had good quarterbacks, but it's not every year they have one. You know what I mean? A lot of times, one of the things I really admire about Todd Rogers is he will shape the team or shape the
yeah,
scheme
we all
around
remember
his
the
team.
Nick Ralston.
Absolutely. He'll shape the scheme around his team. There are years where they would throw the ball 10 times a game, and then there are times where they'll throw the ball 35. When you got a like Gasperson, you're like, oh, just snap it to him and let him cook.
He's tricky athletic, too. He can beat you with his feet when he needs to, which keeps defenses honest. And I think I always like to look back and rewind the clock. Last season, that last game against South Oak Cliff had to put some motivation behind the offseason this year. And I look at those things heading into the season. This is a highly motivated team with senior leadership at the most important position in McGuire Gasperson and a lot of weapons all around him, including Braden Bach and Julian Caldwell. And over on defense, you have Malik Bracey. Just a fun team.
The newest UTSA commit, McGuire Gasperson, the quarterback from Argyle. Let's continue on with our commit of the week. Our commit of the week is Fort Bend Marshall athlete Caden Johnson, who this week committed to Texas A&M. The Aggies pull in the services of Caden Johnson, the outstanding playmaker there for the Buffaloes. He had offers from all over, including places like Colorado and Washington State, but the Aggies came calling, and Caden Johnson picked up the phone.
Yeah, big quarterback, 6'5", 6'6", 220 pounds, and I like the recruiting approach that they use to convince him that College Station was in his best fit. I think that he's probably going to get his first shot at the tight end position moving into college, but I think he could also be that big-bodied quarterback that you can use in goal line and red zone situations to move the chains or pick up key touchdowns, because those are the most important possessions, right? If you move inside the 10-yard line, who do you have on your roster to hammer at home? I can't help but envision Caden Johnson being that guy, because you have to respect you're going to have to respect his ability to throw it too. 25 touchdowns last year under center at Fort Bend Marshall. And as we're talking about just his quarterback play, I think coming back, another big time guy that could have his team squarely in the mix to compete potentially for a state title. This team is another loaded team, and you're not going to come across too many squads that have a 6'5", 6'6", 220 pound. I mean, he's massive.
Aggie fans are not going to enjoy this, and I mean this with all love. Tyrone Swoops comes to mind. Just a hard charging runner when he lowers his shoulder. But this is a guy who obviously doing it at the 5A level in a highly, highly, highly competitive district there. I mean, they're having to play, teams like Richmond Randall within their own district. This is a guy who is battle tested and a guy who has passed every test that has come his way. And you're right. When they need the play, they're just like, snap it to KJ.
See, what he did right here is what I kind of envisioned. I was thinking Blake Bell, the Belldozer type of a comparison there too. Something like that. Something along those lines. Just a multifaceted offensive weapon who can punish defenses and run over linebackers in goal line situations, because whenever he hits somebody, he's probably going to drive them back. Unless they're stud of studs.
Yeah, absolutely. Caden Johnson, the newest Texas A&M commit, is our commit of the week out of Fort Bend Marshall. Let's round it all out with our underclassmen of the week. And in our underclassmen of the week, we have a very special thing to toss to for our underclassmen of the week. If you want to throw to the...
First and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because I know that without him, none of this would be possible, and I wouldn't be in the position I am right now. I just want to thank him for waking me up every morning and bless me with new opportunities. I'd like to thank my parents who sacrificed a lot for me to get to this point, just constantly showing me support and having my back no matter what trials or tribulations we went through together. I want to thank my little brother for pushing me to be the best big brother I can be, but also the best person I can be every day and motivating me. I would like to thank my trainers, Coach Bam, Coach Kelvin, Coach BJ, who helped me become a better athlete along this journey and always pushed me past my limits. I'd like to thank my coaches, Coach KJ, Coach Foster, Coach Vic, and Coach Fennell, who helped put me in the best position to make plays and helping me become a leader on and off the field. I'd like to thank my pastors for helping me become a better man of God and always giving me scriptures when I needed them the most. finally, I would like to thank all of y'all for coming out today to support me on this big day. And once again, I want to give all glory to God because He is the reason why I'm here today, and I wouldn't be able to do it without Him. And with that being said, for the next 4 years of my athletic academic career, it'll be all right. And with that being said, for the next 4 years of my athletic and academic career, I'll be committed to
All right, Devontre, man, you just made the decision. You have all your supporters here. How cool was it to have all the support from the community, your family, your friends, your coaches, everybody being out here?
Man, it just feels amazing knowing all these people here for me, just knowing they're here to support me through my journey everywhere I go. I just thank y'all all for coming out. I couldn't be here without y'all.
It was Baylor, man. You're staying at home. You're playing in Waco. What was it about the program that made you feel comfortable enough to go ahead and pull the trigger with an early commitment? You know, you still got 2 full years of ball left to play.
Yeah. Just here to take care of my family. Baylor took care of my family like they was their own. They just always been there for me and showing me how to be the best player I could be at all times, and just getting here to stay home and play for all my peoples here in the hometown.
I know fans in Waco are going to be excited about your commitment. What are they getting out of you? What are you bringing to the table that makes you so special? Why should those Sikkim fans be hyped?
Man, I'm just here to play ball, be a lockdown defender, make tackles, make plays, and just help Baylor turn the program around, bring us a winning program.
You heard it from Devontre D-Train Kirkland right there, man. Congratulations on the decision. Family, thanks for having us out. And it was a tremendous opportunity to come out here and watch one of the top ballers in Texas commit to his future program. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There he is. Our underclassman of the week is Devontre Kirkland out of Waco University, who you just saw commit Saturday live on Dave Campbell's air. Commit to the Baylor Bears, and really nice win here for Dave Aranda and company to seal the borders and keep a hometown kid at home.
He'll be joining his teammate at Waco University, London Smith, who's committed in the 2026 class, playing for Baylor, and they're doing a tremendous job of keeping the local talent home right now, and really a good job in general on the recruiting trail. Baylor is recruiting at a very high level over the last 2 classes, and it seems like the momentum continues to build, and they're stacking these recruiting wins now on top of each other. Devontrae's a very versatile defensive back who could play corner or safety in college, over 80 tackles last year, always around the football, has a nose for the ball, so I'm excited to see not only how he does in college, but how he does for Waco U over the course of the next 2 seasons.
Baylor has been cleaning up on the recruiting trail. One guy that we never have to clean up after. Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. See his fine work at texasfootball.com/recruiting. Thanks, Powers.
Thanks for having me.
Are you going to be? Let me just produce something on the fly. Are you going to be in here on Saturday or on Sunday for the 7-on-7 pool reveal?
I will be.
That's a little tease. Hey,
Whoa!
Sunday. I didn't know the answer to that, but now I do. Sunday, we are going to be revealing exclusively
I was getting my practice in.
Live on our air the 2025 State 7-on-7 Pool Reveal Show will be going on Sunday, 5 o'clock. We will be unveiling the pools right here on this very channel where you are watching us. You can see who will be stacking up in College Station in the State 7-on-7 tournament and the pool path they will walk, every one of those teams, exclusively here on the Dave Campbell's airwaves. Wherever you're watching this, you can watch that. So we're very excited. 5 o'clock. Come for the Greg Powers and stay for the pool reveal.
Stay for the Matt Step.
We are Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com. Talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course see us at TexasFootball.com. Hey, VNA, do we have the covers in there?
We do.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. Hey, if you want to get your hands on a copy of the 2025 Summer Edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, best way to do that, Go to texasfootball.com/subscribe. texasfootball.com/subscribe. We will mail you this magazine directly to you. The subscribers will get it our number one priority to get the magazine. Make sure you go to texasfootball.com/subscribe. Makes a great gift as well. There you see the covers of the 2025 summer edition. 400 pages of football goodness. And if you subscribe, you also get a year of Dave Campbell's Texan Live, our streaming platform, where you get more than 2,000 live events all across the year, all on your device as part of your Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscription. Makes a great gift as well. Go to texasfootball.com/subscribe. Coming up here in just a moment, speaking of that magazine, we talked to the man who penned the cover story on Steve Sarkisian. Mike Craven will join us to talk about it, but first a word from these valued partners.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Hey DFW residents, get your grocery essentials in minutes, not hours or days, with Wing Drone Delivery. Forget about last-minute trips to the store when you need things like cereal for breakfast before school, medicine for a cold, or snacks for a movie night. Wing's drones get you quick, no-contact delivery in as fast as 15 minutes. Say goodbye to last-minute grocery runs and say hello to more of your valuable time. Sign up today.
Joined out here by Hayden Gunner at Denton High School. Man, it's a big day for you. You got your decision coming right now.
After a lot of thinking with the family, talking, stressing out.
Let's see exactly where Malik Hawkins is going to be heading.
First off, I want to start by thanking God. Without him, I wouldn't be anything. I wouldn't be blessed with all these opportunities.
He's got 5 schools he's choosing between. We're about to find out who it's going to be. Got your teammates, coaches, family, friends surrounding you, so you couldn't have a bigger stage right here to announce it on. So without further ado, we're going to go to the man right here, Kobe Foreman. Who's it going to be?
I will be attending.
I'll be committed to the University of Oklahoma. University of Texas A&M.
Stanford University.
The University of Oklahoma.
Every legend starts with a vision. For Dave Campbell, that vision was clear. Tell the story of Texas football like never before. In 1960, he built something no one had before, a magazine that became the Bible of Texas football. Coaches, players, and fans didn't just read it, they lived by it. His words shaped the game. His vision built a legacy. And his name? It will always be written in the story of Texas football. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, where legends begin.
The 2025 cover of Dave Campbell's Texas Football has been revealed, with Steve Sarkisian, head coach of the Texas Longhorns, gracing the cover of the 66th annual edition of the Bible of Texas Football. And here to talk a little bit about it is the guy who wrote the cover story for this year's edition. It is Mike Craven. Mike, appreciate you taking some time. When we came to the decision as a team to put Steve Sarkisian on the cover, I'm curious, knowing that you were going to be the guy writing the story, I'm curious what your first thoughts were.
Well, I was excited. Obviously Sarkisian has a unique story, an interesting story. He's had some ups, he's had some downs. And when you're approaching a 2,500 word kind of feature story, a cover story of that magnitude, you want the subject to be interesting, right? You need some stuff to write about. And so a lot of times when I've approached these stories, it's trying to figure out 2,500 words. With Steve, it was, how do you cut this down to 2,500 words? He has a career at 50 years old that could be a book. And so it was trying to decide when to start it, when to end it, what highlights to kind of get to. And, the interview kind of dictated a lot of that.
You've written about a lot of coaches. The thing that kind of strikes me about Sarkisian is he's a particularly layered figure. There's a lot of layers to him. When you dug into his story, both in your work ahead of time and then when you talked with him in Austin, I'm curious what really stood out to you.
That it wasn't as unique as I thought, right? Like when we look at like the great coaches across the country, I think sometimes we look at the outliers that have the success right away, or we see the finished product. But Nick Saban struggled until he was about 50 years old. Pete Carroll struggled until he was about 50 years old. And so the 7-win Sark stuff and the troubles at USC, while unique, I don't think that they're all that different than how most of these coaches do it. Like, it takes a while to become a great coach. You have to fail a few times. You have to learn on the job. And he's done that. And so I guess that was the eye-opener to me, was like, while his path was his own, it doesn't seem to be all that different. And it does take these guys 10, 15, 20 years of being in that chair and being around other great coaches to kind of get the recipe down.
You mentioned, people around him, and you talked to a lot of people around the program and around Sarkisian. Was there like a common thread or a common theme that kept coming up when you would talk to people about Steve Sarkisian?
Yeah, toughness. And we have a stereotype here in Texas for Californians, right? Like he's a quarterback. He's from California. Jordan Whittington kind of talked about it. It's like you have this perception of what he's going to be, and he's not that. He's a pretty hard-nosed guy. Sometimes a little too hard-nosed, right? You saw the Alamo Bowl that one time where he got mad at the staffer, before the game. Like he can have that edge to him, and Texas needed that, right? Like, and that's the part that I think was fascinating, was coaches can be different, but they need to be themselves. And I think what everybody was telling me was that Sarkisian told me this himself. He figured out how to just be himself. He stopped trying to be Pete Carroll. He stopped trying to be Nick Saban. He just wanted to be Steve Sarkisian. And Steve Sarkisian's a pretty tough, hard-nosed, no-nonsense football coach. And he demanded of himself that the next time he got the opportunity, he was going to build a program in his image. And I think he feels like he's on track to doing that at Texas.
And that actually brings up my next question, which is about like how he's changed. Obviously, you mentioned the 7-win Sark thing. It didn't go well at USC. It ended pretty poorly. I know you talked with him about him maybe even leaving coaching semi permanently before kind of an opportunity arose for him. In talking with him, how has his maybe leadership or just his style changed that has allowed him to be more successful, certainly, than he was in his previous stops?
I think he became more vulnerable, more honest. He talked a lot about Culture Wednesdays and how that changed Texas. And what they do on Wednesdays is they break out into groups and they just tell each other stories, like what they've gone through, the good, the bad. And Sarkisian started that by doing an hour-long speech in front of the Texas program in 2022 in the summer. And it wasn't the PG version, as he described it to me. It was the R-rated, here is everything, because how can I ask a 20-year-old to share their life story if me at 45 can't share mine? And he was like, I know they have Google and they can go see kind of my story, but they need to hear it from me. And so I think he just became more vulnerable. He became more honest. I think that's helped him handle some adversity. He's admitted that in the past, it was the bad stuff that kind of got him down, a bad loss or whatever, would send him down, maybe a poor path. I think now he handles that better. He has a better support system around him. I think he's more mature, and we all get that way as we grow up. And so, yeah, I think it's a lot of things. I think he's just more comfortable with himself, and that's allowed him to be more comfortable with the ups and downs that come with being a high-level head coach.
And being a high-level head coach at the University of Texas, where there is not just – you're already an FBS head coach, and you're already a Power 4 head coach, but you are also the head coach of the University of Texas, and you're the University of Texas heading into 2025, where there are big expectations and big pressure. In your conversation with him, do you get the feeling that he's embracing that pressure, or he's trying to block that out? What's his strategy heading into 2025?
Yeah, I think he's embracing it, and it's why he got hired. Like Chris Del Conte told me specifically, they went with Steve Sarkisian because he had seen it done at big-time programs, right? He had been at USC. He had been at Alabama. He knew the gravitas of the Texas job, according to Chris Del Conte. He had been in the NFL, and I think that served him well in the transfer portal and NIL market that kind of came about, during his tenure. He was the perfect fit for that. So I don't think this job is too big for him. He's already failed on the biggest stages, right? Like most of us are afraid of our biggest failures or our biggest potential failures. Well, Steve Sarkisian's already had a very high profile public fall from grace at a major university. Like what else could go wrong? Like what else could be bigger than that? And I think that there's a kind of a bravery and a courage that comes from that. I've been through some personal stuff as well that kind of just, you hit rock bottom, you come out of it, and then you're like, well, you're not made of glass and you can handle that stuff. And so I don't think the pressure to him at Texas is as big as maybe we think it is, because he's done some life stuff that makes it pale in comparison.
And finally, this is a story that it's not just a story about Texas football. It's also about what kind of Texas football means. And Sarkisian is obviously a big puzzle piece, not just in the state of Texas, but in the national college football landscape. I'm curious how you feel like Sarkisian fits in that bigger narrative of football, whether it's in Texas or it's nationally, where his role is right now.
Yeah, I think he's next. Mm-hmm. Right. Like, I think for a long time, Nick Saban was the figurehead of college football, and then it's become Kirby Smart. And I think Sarkisian's there with like a Ryan Day and a Dan Lanning, where he's going to be kind of the next face of college football, especially at a program like Texas with all the resources, the way that they recruit. They're probably going to be the national #1 team in the country this year. And if not, they're going to be playing the national #1 team in the country in week 1. And so I think he's going to be somebody who leads this sport and is a figurehead for this sport, and his opinion's going to matter a lot for this sport. And being in the SEC allows him to kind of have that voice.
He's Mike Craven. He is our senior writer here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and he is the guy who penned the cover story of the 2025 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football on Steve Sarkisian. Mike, appreciate your time, my friend.
Thanks, sir.
There's Mike Craven, our senior writer for the on his outstanding cover story. I really do hope we'll talk with Carter Yates about the Gatefold feature on Thursday. I mean this sincerely, and there's, by the way, a third feature from Dave Wilson of ESPN in there. I think all 3 features are unbelievable this year. Really, really great, and I think you're really going to enjoy reading Mike Craven's piece on Steve Sarkisian when you pick up your copy of the 2025 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, which you can get mailed directly to you if you become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber at texasfootball.com/subscribe. Let's go over to Vianney Moreno for America's second favorite segment, Final Thoughts, and see what she came up with. Vianney Moreno, what is the most dad thing you did in 2025 so far, or last year?
I was actually thinking, and the most dad thing I did was getting 4 new wheels on my car.
Okay, all 4? They cut you a deal?
Yes, I've been saving my monies, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm so scared of driving the rain. I'm gonna just get all 4 new wheels.
Pretty good.
So being safe.
Yeah, pretty good. I have. I want to read a couple. Again, this comes from Ryan Nanny, our friend, Celebrity Hot Tub.
Oh wow.
Who puts this question out on Twitter and now on Blue Sky every year. He asked. Let's see. What are a couple? Carefully curated lists of movies on Netflix that I will frequently revisit and update, but almost certainly will never watch. Pretty good. After tagging my 10-year-old daughter with a green shell from well back, I paused Mario Kart to deliver an emphatic Mike Breen from way downtown call to taunt her. Pretty good. This is from Chuck. I know Chuck. Needed 4 cubic feet of decomposed granite for landscaping our front yard, but it was only $55 more to have 8 cubic yards delivered. That's how we ended up shoveling over 10 tons of rock by hand over the next week. The DIY gulag is what that is.
This is good.
Let's see. I was assembling a new bookcase for my daughter and snapped one of the flimsy plastic circular cam connectors when tightening it. I went to the basement to retrieve a metal one that I had been saving for at least 10 years for just such an occasion and saved the day.
Wow.
That's very dad. Very, very dad. And finally, this one is my winner. It's from Timothy Burke, Bubba Prague, who says, I fixed a wobbly ceiling fan with a chip clip. Happy Father's Day to the dads out there. Let us know in the comments what the most dad thing you did in 2025.
My dad will find like a piece of wood and be like, I could probably use this.
Oh yeah. And you just keep
for
it
something. And
it just
keeps
goes in a pile of things that won't be useful now, but will be eventually.
Like something will happen, and he'll be like, I have something for that. Dads.
I was definitely putting away the Christmas tree. We have like a Christmas tree bag, and it's falling apart. But instead of buying a new one for like $20, I instead there's an irresponsible amount of duct tape on it right now up in our attic, but got the job done.
I love that.
Happy Father's Day to all.
Happy Father's Day.
It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Thanks again to Mike Craven and Greg Powers for being our guests. For VNA Moreno, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you Thursday on Texas Football Today.
Bye.